Hey, friends and paper lovers, welcome back to Paper Moon Journals. This month I'm included in the year-long collaboration hosted by Project 39 Mini Albums and Kristina's Krafts, where we're tackling our paper stash in creative and totally unique ways. For June, we had a free choice prompt, and I've got lots to share. On screen, you can see I'm showing you a Carnival Masquerade journal that I finished right at the beginning of the month. I added lots of gem and charms, sparkles, some chain and pearls for lots of dimension and detail on the cover. I'll be walking you through all the things that I made, just a quick look at some of these projects, including a peek at toward the end at a nearly finished fairy journal. It's a fairy tale horses that brings me so much joy. We'll be taking a look at Graphic 45's brand new fairy collection, the one I kind of previewed online. I have some thoughts about the changes they've made to the paper collections, and maybe you're unaware, so we'll go over that. I've got a little side by side with some digital art that might surprise you. And finally, we'll peek into July's theme, Christmas in July, and my plans for creating something really special, handmade advent boxes with 25 treasures to unwrap throughout December. So grab a cozy drink, settle in, and let's flip through some pages, future plans, and a whole lot of crafty goodness. Of course, don't forget to check out the channels by all of the other collaborators. It'll be down in the description box. And like I said, some people focus on stamping. Most of the people focus on scrapbooking. There's some card making, and there's some general paper crafting. If my style isn't your style, maybe one of theirs is. We'd have different styles, different interests, but all of us have fun and amazing projects. So this was just a quick look at the Carnival journal that I made. And if you're interested, the full flip through is available on my channel, and you're welcome to check that out. Let's move on to the next thing that I finished in the month of June. This next project sold so quickly, I was lucky I even had this video available. I didn't film it in the landscape orientation like I normally do. It's a dollhouse or doll themed journal, and that's one of my favorite themes. I love dolls. My other channel is about dolls. Yeah, and it's by Pixie Dust Files, Sabrina Pratt over there. Everything she does is so cute and adorable, makes all of my projects better, whether it's a scrapbook or a journal. We'll just be seeing journals today. I didn't get to make any scrapbooks in the month of June. My time has been divided among too many hobbies, and I just have all these really amazing digital kits by some of my favorite artists that I've been dying to use, and it's just been calling to me more than the scrapbooking papers. But so I made the doll journal. And then the other one, I don't think I even got a video. I think I just have pictures of it. It was a fairy tale journal, also by Sabrina Pratt for her Pixie Dust Files Etsy shop. My standard size of journal now is a 9x6 with a 3-inch spine, somewhere between 100 and 200 pages. I don't even remember the details on this one anymore. I have kind of a shabby chic style. So these are the photos that I took to list it in my Etsy shop. I added lots of glitter, little flowers, buttons, lace, charms. So I made this journal. As I already mentioned, it was Pixie Dust Files. Then I get my June collaboration project that I get free from Sweet Pea Curiosities. I get to pick 1 or 2 digitals a month as long as I share the project. So then I picked a project for her. It was Pink Celestial, which was something I hadn't really seen. And it turned into Pink and Red, which was something I didn't think I'd do outside of Valentine's. But here is that project. Again, there will be the full flip through. But I layered things up on chipboard and cut it out, added some gold wax, a brooch, lots of glitter, some celestial themed charms, and pink charms, of course, more lace. Some of them have more or less lace. Each project has something it wants to be, and I just try to make it that. I don't know how to say it, but I made a few different videos sharing different things. I made a couple cards that I've tucked into the front. At least one of the layered tags, I think, was a video that made the front. So again, if you want to check this out, I'll have the full 12, 13-minute video or whatever if you want to see all the details. This is still available for sale in my Etsy shop too. So if you're interested, I'll try to remember to get the links in the box, but it's definitely available in my Etsy shop, and that link is on I'll make sure I got the link to my shop in there, if not to the individual items. And yep, so that was fun. I strictly used digital kits and ephemera by Sweet Pea Curiosities for this project. I've been on her design team long enough. I have a huge variety of her stuff, and it's fun to just sit down at my computer, open up my file of her digitals, and get my new one, and then I'll remember things that I've gotten that were similar and poke through there looking for things that'll look great with the with my latest digital kit. Now that the month's almost over, I need to start picking my July kit. I go to her shop. It's so hard to decide because she's always coming out with new great things. And I'm really touched to be on her design team, Marissa. Marissa owns that business. And I actually ended in there by default. Somebody who had gotten chosen when she originally picked her design team couldn't keep up with the commitment and backed out. And then she said, "Hey, are you still interested?" Oh, I was so honored. And then I just hope I'm living up to the quality of, interest and excitement that the other people on her design team have. So of course I had my design team commitment to do, and then I still have more digital kits that I want to use. And I'm gonna have to just try to use those up before the end of June. I still have a few days left. Or I don't know. I'm not good at variety. I tend to just fixate on one thing and then that's it. I'm not sure I could work on Christmas and my summary digitals at the same time. But we'll see how that goes. I definitely want to get those Christmas things done. I'm really excited. I just need to stay excited and focused on that and try to forget about my digitals for at least a couple weeks. And then maybe the first 2 weeks or something. And then once I get the Christmas dialed away, part of my goal, then I can go back to my digitals goal. I'd like to use up all the ones that I've bought this summer before I move on to Halloween. I've already started buying some Halloween digitals and am getting primed up for that. It starts because I get people messaging me, asking me questions about my Halloween journals. That has already started this month. I've had people questioning me what I used and things like that from usually over on TikToks, where those I used to do really well over there. But recently on TikToks, my videos have been really sad and dismal. I do much better on every front almost over here on YouTube. There's the occasional one over there that'll get 3,000-4,000, but for the most part, I don't know what happened. I look at other creators that are bigger. They have like 20,000 followers. I only have like 4 over there, and their videos are getting the same crummy views mine are. I don't know what's going on over there, but I have too many on too many different social media platforms to worry about just the one. Okay, so we've seen more than enough of this. Let's move on to the next thing. So here is my only scrapbooking haul during June. I love fairy journals. Here it's a, what was it called? Fairy Tale Horses by Pixie Dust Files. It looks a lot like the fairy tale one, except it's got a lot of fairies and horses in it. So speaking of fairies, I got this graphic 49 papers. Like I mentioned in last month's video, fairies is a favorite theme for me. And I have to make at least one fairy themed project a year. So I would love to dig into this and the scrapbooking papers. I didn't pay any attention. I just love Graphic 45. I love fairies. I got a glimpse of the collection. I just bought the complete collection without looking at any of the details and hadn't noticed that they changed what comes in your paper collection now. So first we'll look at the chipboard and frames and ephemera. This is the chipboard stuff. And then we'll look at the die cuts, which is basically like a scrapboard weight. It had lots of nice sentiments and stuff in it. There's rub-ons. And then we'll get to the 12 by 12 because I got the complete collection. I've got the 12 by 12 main collection, the 8 by 8 main paper collection, and the patterns and solids, which used to be a favorite for me. I will say I'm not a fan of change. And so I don't know how much of it is that change makes me anxious. I liked it the way it was. I wish they hadn't changed it, right? Like, yeah, I'm sure that it's a cost-saving measure, and I can see easily as somebody, my day job as an accountant and bookkeeper, I do financial advice for businesses. It's especially important if you're starting a business to talk to somebody before you even get started. In case you weren't aware, let me just give a little pitch. I do give a 1 hour consult. So if you have a crafting business or another business, you don't understand your financials, maybe your bookkeeper or accountant doesn't answer any of your questions. It's affordable, no commitment, no pressure, but I just brought it up because I've had people ask me that. I've mentioned that I'm an accountant, and I've gotten a couple of direct messages for people asking me for help and advice. They didn't want an hour consult. I just gave them, answered a quick question or whatever, but it just made me think that I should bring it up here. There's probably a lot of people with crafting businesses. They get a 1099 at the end of the year from Etsy or whatever platform, PayPal or whatever they're selling on, Square Up, craft shows, craft fairs, something like that. Maybe you're not sure, you have questions or advice. Anyways, so yeah, I find that fun. I'm a nerd. I find that fun and interesting and can, go on for hours about stupid tax strategies and things like that. Yep, I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd all the way around. So this die cuts, I think I might have liked even better than the chipboard frames. The chipboard frames are fun to make places to slide pictures behind, just a little piece of acetate and making shakers, things like that. I think that's fun. I'm not sure what other people are using them for. I think it'd be great for some mixed media. Back when I did mixed media, I definitely would be using the frames and layering it for that. If anybody watching would be interested in seeing a mixed media project, I'd be down to film something like that. Yeah, so this is the die cuts. I think it's called ephemera pack. Used to be called die cuts. You get way more now that it's called an ephemera pack. So that was a change I'm not complaining about. And then here's the chipboard stickers that are really pretty. And while I was looking at this stuff, I noticed that a lot of the same imagery, I think they're called vectors when you're buying them to use in your digital artwork, is exactly the same as a My Porch Print digital kit. So while I'm pulling this out and showing you, I sent off to print some of my Porch Print stuff, and I'll bring that over and we can compare that. And then I'll bring some of the recent paper collections that I still have hanging out by my desk over, and I'll show you what's changed between what comes in the new one. First of all, the patterns and solids is 8.5 by 11 now. It's letter-sized paper. I think I hate this. I feel a little bit cheated. I liked getting it in a 12 by 12. There's another change that they made that makes me think, do I even need the patterns and solids anymore? Now that it's not a 12 by 12, I think it's gonna, the 8.5 by 11 papers leave a lot of weird offcuts for me. And I find more leftover scraps, things like that. I don't know. But it could just be that I hate change. So we do get 4 of the patterns and solids included in our main paper collection now, which is why I'm like, well, why would I buy the patterns and solids? I guess so that I could have more. I did always like to have more of the patterns and solids, but the fact that it's gotten smaller hurts me and makes me feel a little bit donkey-like about stubborn, like, I don't like that. I don't know. And so I'm just gonna say, I don't know how I feel about that, because a lot of times things I think I don't like, I end up liking anyways. I want to be happy. I want to be a happy person. Liking things is happier than hating things, right? Being unhappy. So yeah, it's hard to dislike things and still be happy. But my initial reaction was I felt a little hurt, and I still would have bought it. I don't know if I would have got the complete collection, if I would have still got the patterns and solids. I don't know. I just don't know. And now I'm wondering about the ocean collection. So it has beautiful, beautiful imagery on the front and the back. The shoes, the little fairy dresses, some of the characters, I think, are almost exactly the same. This page, for example, I recognize all of those images, I think. And so then some of the pattern pages that are using those images, of course, are the same. After we go through the pad here, then I'll pull in the digital from My Porch Prints. Not everything that she has in this thing. I have so many digitals. especially fairy ones. She probably has added to this collection 2, 3, 4, something like that. I don't know. I bought the collection a few years ago and I love it so much I keep using it almost any time I do a fairy journal. I do like doing cute little black girl fairy journals. And in that case, I try to keep all of the Caucasian fairies out of it. Almost all the fairies seem to be Caucasian. Still are cute little dark-skinned fairies, right? So when I make those, I want to make it all about the dark-skinned fairies and try to eliminate all of the Caucasian ones that are overabundant, perhaps, in the art world. Maybe it's just me. If you'd like to see, a lot of times the Graphic 45 paper collections do include dark-skinned characters in there. I don't think I saw any this time. I know all of their other paper collections had cute little dark-skinned fairies, and I don't think this one does. And I'm a bit surprised about the fact that these seem to be vectors that anybody could just buy to use. Okay, so let's get the digital kit out and look at that. I printed out the main journal pages, 2-sided, and then I didn't print out the pattern pages. It wasn't done printing out all the ephemera pages. One of the things I like about the My Porch Prints is they make it available in a PDF so I can send all the pages at one fell swoop. Just send it 2-sided, bam, off I go. Instead of printing one page at a time, manually going and flipping the pages over at the printer. But I think you can see a lot of similarities in the artwork that was used in this digital kit and the scrapbooking papers. So if you add this digital kit, or there's probably other digital kits that include this exact same artwork, probably was not exclusive to My Porch Prints, clearly, since Graphic 45 acquired the same artwork, then you can use them together to make something, to personalize it, is how I like to say it. You can really personalize by adding digital artwork to the scrapbooking papers. You can really personalize the project to yourself. I also think it's fun that you can have, 5 people use the exact same set of scrapbooking papers, maybe even on the same size album, and you will come out with 5 totally different points of view. I think that's fun and amazing. But when you add in the even different extra level of variety by adding the more digital. So let's compare what's in the new kit versus the old kit. So in the old kit, it looks like there were 12 different designs that were totally different from the patterns and solids, which also I think had eight different designs, and you got 3 each of those. I went through that too fast, and then I hit the camera with my pad. So apologies for that. I will notice and fix the camera in a second here. Okay, so for the patterns and solids, they're just smaller. It comes with the same number of pages, the same number of designs. 8 designs, 16 sheets. They're just smaller now. And then for the 12 by 12, we're just getting less designs. And then for the 8 by 8, instead of getting 3 of each, we're only getting 2 of each, but it includes the patterns and solids instead of just the 8 patterns. So I don't know. I'd be curious to know what you think. Do you care? Do you even care? Am I the only one? I already know I'm crazy and that I do think outside the box quite often. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do we care? Do we not care? I think if they're just doing it to try to keep the price point the same so that they don't have to, everything else is going up. And I'd like to believe that their goal in doing this was to try to keep from doubling the price and everything else. They made a few other changes, cost-cutting measures to try to keep the price same or close to the same. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I still love them. Oh, here we go. I've noticed the camera was askew. Now this project is almost done. It's waiting for the finishing touches, and I thought it might be fun to share that with you. We'll take a quick look at it. I'll flip through it. So I completely finished decorating the cover, but then I need to add charms, and I've just started adding glitter. I've started adding lace to the page edges, but I didn't do any like to decorate images or to like really feature certain things. So I'd say this is about 90% done. And I'll finish that before the end of June. So that's what I did in June, and I was busy. I think you can see even without making the scrapbook mini albums, and even if you didn't know all of the tons of things that I did on my other crafting channel, my doll crafting channel. If you have a similar hobbies, feel free to check out the Amy Plays with Dolls channel because it's doing really well. It already monetized a little over a year, and I have a lot of fun over there as well. So for July, my paper crafting plans are to work on those Christmas Advent boxes that I mentioned at the beginning. So I sold 2 of those last year. I sold them for $350 each. And how it started was it starts with a cover that's completely done and decorated, but it's done, even though it's a 9x6 in a traveler's notebook style with elastics. So you could just tuck the signatures in. And then there was like 3 or 4 different signatures that you got on different days that were already sewn together and just needed to be tucked under. And then for those signatures, I just decorated the front page and didn't decorate anything else. And then on those journals I just showed you are the Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day, you get a completely made, hand decorated journal by me, $100 to $150 value in my Etsy shop. And then on the other days, some days you'll get like, say, this pop-up card on one day. On another day, you might get a thing of Stickles or a thing of Stickles glitter, some glue, and a cheap pair of scissors. So the day you got the pop-up card might not be as exciting as the day that you got the glitter, scissors, or the day that you get the lace. The day that the lace came, I just had one day with the lace. So all the lace I wanted to make sure that they got on lace day. That had to be an exciting day, I would imagine. And if you don't have anybody to buy you gifts, or if you can afford this, I just think how exciting to get a box full of 25 hand wrapped gifts. So here's some of the things from the dollar store. And then I've started adding to it things that I've been making during the year. So for July, with our Christmas in July, I want to include a Christmas scrapbook mini album for one of the days. I know there was a folio for one of the days, things like that. Again, try to focus on Christmas now during July so that in the fall, I won't be worried about these Advent boxes. I'd like to have 3 up ready for sale, and I want them to be even better than the ones I made last year. Last year when I made them, it took me about 3 weeks to put together each box. And so I just felt like almost 2 months were gone putting together those boxes. And if I play my cards right, by saving some of these journals, like this one didn't sell. I made it too close to Christmas last year. And I wasn't worried about it because I already knew I wanted to do more Advent boxes and that I was going to pull it from inventory. As long as it doesn't sell before I get these boxes put together, I'll just pull it for inventory. I'll gift wrap it up. I hand make the little tags that mark each day that you should open the gift. So you have all these little handmade tags that you can then use in your journal. Some of the days you get tags or ephemera, things like that. I love this journal, and I did another video on it at Christmas when I was showing off the Advent box that I made. So you can check that out if you're interested. Of course, don't forget to check out the videos by all of the other collaborators down in the description box and see what they did, because I can't wait to do that. I find it really inspiring or entertaining. Thanks so much for spending some crafty time with me today. The fact you made it all the way to the end means that you're my favorite and I like you best. So keep that in mind. I hope you enjoyed the sneak peek into my June projects, my thoughts on new Graphic 45 Fairy collection, and a little preview of what I have planned for July. If you're part of the year-long collab or just working through your own paper stash, I'd love to hear what you've been making, so leave a comment and share. And if you'd like to follow along as I prep for Christmas in July, build more journals, and maybe even get a sneak peek at those Advent boxes, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Until then, happy crafting, and may your paper piles always bring you joy. Bye for now.